The motor racing great Bruce McLaren once said, "Whatever we do, we must do it better than anyone else." And long before Zak Brown ran the famed papaya-colored racing team, that McLaren spirit was alive and well.
I read in TV Guide that Mickey Mantle played golf at Preston Trails Country Club. I'm 12, 13 years old, and I'm calling the country club every day. Is Mickey Mantle in? Is Mickey Mantle in? And one day they go, "Hold on." And I'm like, oh my God, like I might talk to Mickey Mantle. 15 minutes go by, they've called him in off the golf course. I can see why he was a bit upset being a golfer now. And so he picks up the phone, he said, "Hello." And I'm like, "Is this Mickey Mantle?" And he chewed me out like there was no tomorrow. I was in my room crying my eyes out. And my mom came in and went, "What's going on?" I told her the story. She disappeared. Got him back on the phone. He thought it was a prank. Didn't know it was 12, 13-year-old kid. My mom came in, said, "You and your brother pack your bags. We're going to Dallas tomorrow. We're going to meet with Mickey Mantle." And we spent half a day with Mickey Mantle. It was the most unbelievable experience.
Whether it's meeting his heroes or chasing Formula One championships, Brown is a hustler.
I love the art of the deal. You know, there's an adrenaline to that.
And a winner.
I'm definitely motivated by the fear of defeat. I think it's the unhealthier, more stressful version, but that's how back when I was racing, like I just didn't want to lose as opposed to I really want to win. That's what gets you out of bed every day. My first collecting criteria is the car had to have won a race in period.
We met the McLaren racing CEO at the Classic Car Club of Manhattan, ahead of the launch of his new book, 7/10 of a Second. Brown is one of the highest paid executives in Formula One, taking home $50 million last year, a reward for an executive who has returned one of motorsport's most storied teams to the top of Formula One.
It almost feels harder because now we're at the top of the mountain. There's only one way to go, and this is sport, right? That terrifies me. And that's why I get up every day. It's like, I know the storm is coming, but I want to kind of keep pushing it back as much as possible and just keep doing what we're doing.
Zak Brown wasn't born into this world, and growing up in California, he might not have seemed like the type who would go on to run a multi-billion-dollar Formula One team.
I was a bit of the troublemaker, was a bit of the class clown. I did get an A in baseball and in work experience, which were my two loves. Had there been a racing class, I'm sure I would have done well. But history, science, math, just not that exciting for me.
Brown's path to racing wasn't the usual one, if there is such a thing. It all started on a 1984 appearance on Wheel of Fortune.
Zak, $3,050. Identify this person.
Wild Bill Hickok.
Yeah, that's it.
And the deal-making followed.
So I asked Mario Andretti, how do you get started in racing? He said karting, and there happened to be an ad in the race program for Jim Hall Kart Racing School. I'd previously been on Wheel of Fortune Teen Week when I was 13 years old. I won. That was back in the day where you won prizes. So I had this stash of his and her watches. What am I going to do with these things? So I went and sold them at a pawn shop in Van Nuys, took that money, bought a go-kart, and got started racing in karting. And then it was kind of school of hard knocks. I didn't know how do you advance. My mom being a travel agent, she found someone at TWA Airlines who was passionate about racing. They gave me some airline tickets. I'd go sell those airline tickets to pay for racing, and that's kind of how the racing career got started.
And if you're really going to go motor racing, you need some financial support from someplace. Yeah. Now, some people have wealthy parents or wealthy backers and things like that. You didn't necessarily have that. Your parents were much more middle class. So how did you afford it? So
I started to learn how to do sponsorship. I remember my mom and dad kind of talking about how they could help me, and so my mom gave me her salary for a year, which was about $30,000, $40,000, a lot of money, but in the big scheme of things from racing, you know, there's families that have spent millions and tens of millions. So it was kind of enough to get me started, but not even for a full season. So I didn't know anything about sponsorship, but I got fully immersed in how does sponsorship work. And really it trained me to this day, which was I needed to understand what companies wanted to do with their business and how I could use motor racing to help them achieve their goals, something that I still have with me to this day. So I just started calling everyone, Mickey Mantle style. 95 out of 100 people wouldn't even take your phone call, but I was so desperate to be in racing. Just keep calling, and started kind of knocking down doors, building relationships, and figuring it out as I went along, and then ended up getting pretty good at sponsorship by understanding what companies needed and how motor racing can help them achieve their goals.
Brown was a good racer, but never made it to F1. He did, however, have a knack for deal-making. And so, in 2001, he founded a motorsport marketing firm, JMI, which helped establish Brown as a major force at the intersection of racing and business. He sold it in 2013 and joined McLaren 3 years later. What he came into was a mess.
We were not competitive on track. We were 9th in the championship. I know I can't design a better race car. We were at rock bottom as far as sponsorship. That I knew I could make a difference on. And then morale, which was really our biggest challenge, was people weren't working well together, and it was a bit of a rudderless ship because there were so many things going on at the board, and there was, 3, 4 bosses that were in and out. So I think any company, forget about whether it's a racing team, just any company, if you've got a lack of overall leadership because of what was going on, then it's going to be hard to kind of build momentum. So first thing I worked on was trying to fix the economics, because I felt that was my sweet spot. Trying to get everyone to kind of believe, and then ultimately, if I could get everyone to believe in the economics in, then the massively talented people that could design a faster race car, I could get them the tools that they need. And then drivers are something that I'm very comfortable with, and so bringing in Lando, Norris, and then of course Oscar, but we had great drivers in Oscar, and we had a great driver lineup. So tackled trying to kind of build momentum, and we got that momentum going, and then it just accelerated.
When Brown joined McLaren in 2016, the team was recording steady losses and languished at the foot of the F1 table. But it reversed that under Brown, raising its annual revenue and climbing the standings, culminating in winning the title in 2024. Brown says changing the team's culture was a big part of the turnaround.
I'm sure there are people that wouldn't fit in our culture, but I think that's what makes McLaren so special, is we've created a culture that we all buy into, we're all like-minded. I have no yes people on the team. Everyone can speak up. I get upset if they don't, and they know they can. I get upset if they don't challenge me. My job is to, sometimes put the puck on the ice, and I'll come in with a view, sometimes an even very strong view, and I'll do a 180 if, I hear from my team, actually, Zach, I don't think you're thinking about that the right way. And it takes some time for people to get comfortable, kind of challenging the CEO, but I get upset if they don't, so they know they're not allowed to hold back. I'll get very grumpy if it's like, well, I thought this, I just didn't say anything. So everyone in our team speaks up, but then once we align around what we're gonna do, we all hold hands and we're in this together, and you'll never be able to tell if it was a unanimous vote or a majority, and it's okay to have a difference of opinion. That's welcomed. It's kind of, coming back to racing, I've learned so much about being a driver that I think is relevant to being a CEO. So you need to be able to listen well to your engineers. You need to be able to communicate well. You need to have a lot of trust in your team. It's life or death. You need to be very data-driven, and you need to chase perfection, but know that you're actually never going to be perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect lap, a perfect race car. So you need to have a group of people that are kind of happy always being like, well, that's just not good enough.
We're fortunate in our careers if we find a person, 2 persons, 3 people that we can look up to and borrow from and learn from, carry with us. You already mentioned Mickey Mantle and Mario Andretti, pretty big names. Are there other people that you really treasure your experience with?
Oh, yeah. Roger Penske would have to be right at the top. While he's been massively more successful, but I'm still going. Well, so is he, which is what's amazing. He'll never stop. He started off as a racer, built a great team, built a great business, understood how to use his racing to build his business, knows how to build his racing team off his business. So I kind of was in the business of racing, so a lot of similarities. He's a racer. He's been in Formula One, in IndyCar. You know, the only thing he hasn't won is the 24 Hours Le Mans. And he's 80 plus years old, staying up 24 hours, still trying to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So he surrounded himself with great people. He was, to me, growing up in America, he was the McLaren of North America because they even shared the same sponsorship. So the Penske Indy car looked like the McLaren Formula One car from the 80s and 90s. So I think Roger Penske is someone that's right at the top of the list of someone that I've got huge admiration for.
Roger Penske owns IndyCar, as well as the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and his team has won more Indianapolis 500 races than any other in history.
I've known Zak when he was from Indianapolis, and he had a company that really managed sponsors for different race teams. And I remember sitting down with him at the airport in Indianapolis, and he told me he had two choices. He could either potentially put his hand up to run IndyCar, or number two, he'd have a chance to maybe become the CEO of McLaren. Well, he went one direction, we've gone another. He's done a terrific job when you look at what he's brought to McLaren from a corporate perspective. He's a great guy on talent. He knows how to go get the best. And he's a tough guy to deal with from the standpoint or compete with. And he's really done it on his own. I mean, he's got good people, but the McLaren name has been terrific. I remember racing with Bruce McLaren, and he's taken that to the top. And with his two young drivers this year actually racing each other for the World Championship is amazing. But he's a leader. I think he's a tough competitor. And I can tell you one thing, he doesn't like to lose.
That fear of failure has driven Brown from a self-described punk to the very top of Formula One.
What would you today say to Zak Brown when you were in high school? If he could walk into the room, what would you say to him?
I'd probably get in a fight with him. I don't know who'd win.
Brown might not know who'd win, but you can guarantee neither would be happy losing.